start the agenda review session. For the group part of the meeting, we have ordinances on second reading. We have ordinance 081-401, an ordinance authorizing and providing for the acquisition of vacant land by eminent domain for renovation of recreation park. Ordinance 081-402, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, chapter 10, vehicles and traffic, schedule 8A, zones. God bless you. This is in reference to Hamilton Street. We have ordinances on first reading. We have ordinance 081-403, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, title 10, vehicles and traffic, chapter 10.16, stopping, standing, or parking, schedule 45, passenger drop-off and pickup zone. This is in reference to Livingston Avenue. Ordinance 081-404, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, title 10, vehicles and traffic, chapter 10.16, stopping, standing, or parking, no parking at any time on Thompson Street. This is ordinance 081-405, an ordinance to adjust the rates of compensation for street crossing guards in the city of New Brunswick. Resolutions, we have resolution 081-450, approve agenda amendment. Resolution 451, approve payroll from A214 to A1514. Resolution 452, authorize refund for redeemed tax sales certificates. Resolution 453, approve request for street closing requested by the New Brunswick Police Department, New Brunswick Domestic Violence Awareness Coalition. The location is beginning at First Reformed Church on Bayer Street, traveling on Nielsen, Commercial Avenue, Feaster, Baldwin Street, Remsen Avenue, Nielsen, back to First Reform. This is for the annual Domestic Violence Awareness March in the city of New Brunswick on Saturday, October 18, 2014, from 8:30 to 3 p.m. Resolution 454, approve request for street closing requested by Robert Johnson University Hospital. The location is Division Street between Hamilton and Somerset Streets. This is for active shooter drill, disaster drill, with Roberts Police, Middlesex County SWAT, Children's Special Hospital, New Brunswick Police Department, and Robert Johnson University Hospital at EMS. Wednesday, August 20th, from 12:30 to 5 p.m. This is non-control. Resolution 455, approve request for use of city property requested by High-Side Fraternity. The location is Bigelow Park, Building Path, and Pavilion, for a 5K walk run to raise money for Embrace Kids Foundation on Sunday, October 19, 2014, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Resolution 456, approve request for use of city property requested by ROCC Entertainment. The location is Feaster Park. This is for a festival for youth of the area on Saturday, September 6, 2014, with a rain date of Saturday, September 13, 2014, from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Resolution 457, approve amendment of resolution 021466. The reason is to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $569.50 to Lawrence Peterman for police officer Gary Yerkovec in the matter of Basim Candle versus the city of New Brunswick from $14,260.25 to $14,829.75. Resolution 458, approve amendment of resolution 081-404. The reason is to pay additional legal fees in the amount of $1,071 to Benedict Halman for Detective Grants Gregus in the matter of Oswaldo Hernandez, Jorge Lopez Nieves, and Jose Granados Moya versus the city of New Brunswick from $6,834 to $7,905. Resolution 459, approve request for use of city sidewalk requested by Community Asset Preservation Corporation. The location is a Stratford's Place between Louisville Avenue and Livingston Avenue for a ribbon cutting ceremony for sale of recently rehabilitated home on Wednesday, August 20th, 2014, from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is non-frontal. Resolution 460, approve transfer of taxi license number 1 from Joseph Lee to Ed Shamoun. Resolution 461, approve authorization to advertise requested by the Water Department for a standby generator for the water treatment plant. Resolution 462, approve request from Cedar Tau Alpha Sorority at Rutgers University for the pink ribbons and trees lining for the sizes of Polish Avenue between Huntington Street and Somerset Street to raise awareness of breast cancer on October 1st to October 31st, 2014. Resolution 463, Approval water contract with Campbell Freightliner for purchase of one 2014 dump truck for the Department of Public Works, not to exceed $198,977. The Brunswick County Cooperative Purchasing Program is part of that. Resolution 464, approve ABC liquor license renewal for 2014-2015. Resolution 465, approve amendment to Resolution 081446. The reason is to complete the task in progress for the Commercial Avenue Sewer Improvement with Hatchmont McDonald for 2013-2014 miscellaneous supplemental engineering services, not to exceed $20,000. Resolution 466, approval word of contract with the Puerto Rican Action Board for Fair Housing Counseling Services. The term is 12 months, starting on July 1st, 2014 to June 30th, 2015, and thereafter for an additional 12 months should the city so decide, not to exceed $15,000, and this is not full term. Resolution 467, approve amendment of Resolution 091338. The reason is for an extension of contract for one additional year for the period of October 1st, 2014, September 3rd, 2015. Approve agreement for the use of $60,269.82 of CDBG funds to the Intercept Fund. This is for assistance to micro enterprises. Resolution 468, approve rejection of bid and authorization to rebid requested by the Police Department for radio maintenance for the Police Department. Resolution 469, approve amendment of Resolution 011414, authorize city engineer and mayor to execute right-of-way permit forms in 2014. Resolution 470, authorize use of copy machine for Planning Community and Economic Development Department, for Sharp Electronics doing business at Sharp Business System for one Sharp multifunctional copier, not to exceed $182.91 per month, beginning on October 1st, 2014, and ending on September 30th, 2018. Resolution 471, approve amendment of Resolution 051478. The reason is to repair of 777 Jersey Avenue for the Department of Public Works with BMW Construction of New Jersey for equipment and labor not to exceed $33,372.44, and approval of this amendment will constitute an increase of 20% or more the original contract. Resolution 472, authorized purchase by Division of Housing Inspection under State Contract 8-86922 from Heritage Fleet Services for one 2015 Dodge Journey, not to exceed $17,999. Resolution 473, approve authorization to rebid requested by City Hall Holy Works Team Center at the Public Library for vending machine service. Resolution 474, authorize release of site inspection fees to New Brunswick Development Corporation for the New Brunswick High School, Somerset Street. Resolution 475, approve rejection of bid and authorization to rebid requested by the Municipal Court for printing and binding of various forms. Resolution 476, advise and consent to Municipal Court Judge of the City of New Brunswick, James P. Hopich, expires on August 31st, 2017. It's a 3-year term. Resolution 477, approve request from Turn the Town Steel for ribbon and sign campaign in the center of New Brunswick to create awareness of ovarian cancer and its symptoms from September 1st, 2014 to September 30th, 2014. Resolution 478, approve relaxation of the city noise ordinance requested by County developers. The reason is to perform construction activities at the 390 Sudan Street project. Saturdays, August 23rd, August 30th, September 6th, September 13th, September 20th, and September 27th, 2014, from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Resolution 479, approve authorization to advertise for 2014 Lights Friday, non-proton. Resolution 480, approve award of contract with T&M Associates for engineering services to perform the sanitary sewer infiltration, flow, and inflow investigation, not to exceed $58,575. Resolution 481, authorize refund to RAJ Associates family in the amount of $2,329. This is in reference to 245 Hamilton Street from 2014 taxes. Resolution 482, authorized purchase of installation services by Police Department under State Contract A 75583 from Wireless Electronics, doing business as Wireless Communication and Electronics, for removal of equipment from all vehicle and installation into new vehicle, not to exceed $1,470.40. Resolution 483, approve amendment of Resolution 061333, the change order number 2 is a credit with BlackRock Enterprises. The reason adjustment to final as built quantities of the project for sanitary sewer improvement to Bridge Street and Abundant Life Church. The credit is $9,037.98, and approval of this change order will not constitute an increase of 20% or more of the amount of the original contract. Resolution 484, approve authorization to advertise for Rebel Avenue and Library Pump Station upgrades. Resolution 485, approve authorization to advertise for the Brunswick Police impound lot. Resolution 486, resolution to approve or disapprove request for change in floor plan for DNA S Inc., trading as Tula Restaurant, 47 Eastern Avenue. At this time, we call the meeting, please call to order.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Council Vice President Egan.
Here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Present.
Council President Escobar.
Here, please be advised that the notice requirement of the Open Public Meeting Act has been complied with and satisfied, in that the annual notice, which gave sufficient notice of the time and place and conduct of all public meetings of the Municipal Council of the City of New Brunswick, has been filed with the city clerk, has been placed on an appropriate bulletin board in the lobby of City Hall, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has been transmitted to the official newspaper for the City of New Brunswick, namely the Home News Review. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please let's pause for a moment for those, one of those Americans in Africa who have lost their lives in the war in Afghanistan. Thank you. This time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of June 18th.
Motion. Oh, second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti. Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have two ordinances on second reading. Number one is ordinance 081401, which is an ordinance authorizing and providing for the acquisition of vacant land by eminent domain for renovation of recreation park. Does anybody from the public wishes to address the council on this specific ordinance?
Yes. Good evening, Madam Council President, members of the council. I just want to ask what is the purpose of this? Why do we need to use eminent domain to take the land, and what's on that land right now?
Madam President, Glenn Patterson's brought a map of that property.
This is in relationship to the recreation park. Plan to modernize it there. Part of the park plan is to extend the road, so there's a park road that goes through from Sanford Street over to Reservoir Avenue. In here, there is a small piece of land here that needs to be acquired to be able to do that. There's nothing on the land. It's vacant. It's part of the lot that it has a house on it, but there is nothing on here. It's just a piece of land. And an appraisal has been done of the property, and the property owner notified that they have not responded to the offer. So we're following this process to acquire the land so we can move forward with the project.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you. Just to be clear, 67 Reservoir is just part of that property, right?
It's just, there's no house, nothing, it's a piece of vacant land.
Understood. And can you tell me the size of the plot of land and the value that was appraised at?
Mr. Patterson, do you have that?
I don't recall what the size of it is. I would estimate somewhere, 50 feet or so, 60 feet, something like that. And I believe it was appraised at around $75,000.
Yes, that's right, 75,600.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Anthony Laravina, 1050 George Street, New Brunswick. So the land being taken by eminent domain, will the owners still be paid that $75,000, or it'll just be taken?
That's what eminent domain
Yes.
means.
That's it.
Can,
The
Okay,
process,
you check,
yes, the process is that we do an appraisal, and we have to make an offer to the property owner. And if the property owner accepts that, then we don't have to file a complaint. But when she doesn't, we file a complaint, which I have done, and attached to the complaint is the appraisal, which has already been sent to her, and an order to show cause, and there's a date that she has to show for court sometime in September. So she's been put on notice.
Okay, and there's been, I don't know how to say this, but there's been like a signature receipt of her getting the offer and the court date and all this stuff. I mean, you could
Absolutely.
just be sending it to some, by accident address. And
No,
just
I
everything.
know Miss Samuel personally.
Oh, okay.
So she has received it, she signed for it, she's just not accepted the offer.
And when is construction expected to begin on the recreation park
Mr. Patterson.
improvements?
It has not been put out to bid yet. This is one of the conditions or steps that have to be taken before it gets put out to bid, but hopefully that'll be in the next, few months that it'll be put out to bid, and they'll come back, and then see, there's still time to get started in this construction season, or hopefully in the spring. But we're all looking forward to getting it done.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? Having none, I'll
Move
entertain.
the ordinance.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Ordinance 081-402 is an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, chapter 10, vehicles and traffic, loading zones. This is in reference to Hamilton Street. Does any member of the public wish to address the council on this specific ordinance?
Good evening once again, Charles Cravenville, New Brunswick. Can you just tell me what area of Hamilton Street this deals with and what the purpose is of it, why we need to make this a loading zone?
Mr. Hamilton, do you recall?
I don't recall, but I could. Mr. Gold. Mr. Gold has it on.
Mr. Golden, I have it right here, but can you answer that question?
The location is across the street from Union Street, where it intersects with Hamilton, and it's being installed for purposes of the new development that went in there, the new structure, for purposes of loading, unloading.
It's for 100 Hamilton.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions in reference to this ordinance? Having none,
Move the ordinance.
Second.
roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have ordinances on first reading, ordinance 081-403, an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, title 10, vehicles and traffic, chapter 10.16, stopping, standing, or parking. This is passenger drop-off and pickup on Livingston Avenue.
Move the ordinance setting down September 3rd for public hearing, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Ordinance 081-404 is an ordinance to amend and supplement the revised general ordinances of the city of New Brunswick, title 10, vehicles and traffic, chapter 10.16, stopping, standing, or parking. This is no parking at any time on Comstock Street.
Move the ordinance setting down September 3rd for public hearing, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. Ordinance 081-405 is an ordinance to adjust the rates of compensation for school crossing guards in the city of New Brunswick.
Move the ordinance setting down September 3rd for public hearing, same date to be advertised.
Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Escobar.
Yes. We have resolution 450 to resolution 486 at this time. Does any councilman would like to address any of these ordinances? Does any member of the public wishes to address the council on the following resolutions? Just to keep you reminded, say your name, address, and you have 5 minutes to address the council.
Anthony Lavina, 1050 George Street. Resolution 81472 Authorized purchase of a vehicle for our housing inspections. A Dodge Journey, is that an SUV?
That's the journey.
I'm not sure what Dodge Journey is.
We don't know.
It's purchasing agent.
Do you know if that's, what type of a vehicle is that, if it's an SUV? Journey.
Is that a small one?
Yes.
small one.
Thank you, yes it is.
Is there a particular, I mean, is it a four-cylinder SUV? Is it the six-cylinder? Is there a reason that they need an SUV?
Do we have that information? at
What I'm
this
asking is there a cheaper alternative than buying an SUV? So,
time? Do we have that information? I'm trying to get you that information, sir.
Dodge Journey is a four-door, front-wheel drive. The engine is 2.4 liter. I'm not sure what that is.
small.
Oh,
It's a small.
Transmission is a 4-speed.
Okay. All right. That's reasonable.
Thank you.
And then 81484 is upgrades to, actually, you know what, let's do that. 81485, the police impound lot. Where is that supposed to be, or is there one already?
Captain Miller, the police impound lot.
Just to do research at the building, a new one, we have one already on Jersey Avenue, there's going to be property right next to where it is now. Bigger and better.
Thank you. That's it, sir? Or you need to ask Charlie?
No, something, I don't want to be redundant.
Thank you.
Good evening once again, Charles Cradville from New Brunswick. My first question today is about number 8, ends in 57. This is a court case that has been going on for now 10 years. And I just wanted to ask if anybody knows what the status is of the case and why it's cost $14,000 so far, taxpayers.
Mr. Hamilton?
Yeah, it's been a very difficult case. This was a fellow got into an altercation with the police. He wanted PTI, he didn't get it at first. Of course, he finally got PTI, pre-trial intervention. He has appealed every step of the way and has lost every step of the way. And it just keeps going, but I think it's finished now with the Third Circuit.
And so, just to be clear, were there charges, was the person who's suing the city, were they found guilty of anything, or were the charges
In
dismissed?
PTI, the charges are put on hold as long as he completes the period, which is usually a year.
Okay, so he
Mr.
wasn't,
Craddock?
sorry, so the man who's suing the city was not found guilty of anything? Okay, and this lawsuit, what is the nature of this lawsuit? What is he alleging has happened here?
Everything under the sun, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr.
Everything under the sun.
He says he
I've
was
got
wrong.
it sitting on my desk, if you call me tomorrow, I'll talk to you about that, because I've looked at it 2 or 3 times. It's outrageous that it's taken this long. His lawyer doesn't answer when our lawyers go to court, and the court always doesn't reinstate, but it's coming to an end.
Coming to an end as in the judges have ruled already? The ruling has been in the city's favor,
Oh, yes.
and it's just being appealed again? Okay, any time frame on when it'll end?
We don't.
Okay, number 12 ends in 61, the standby generator for the water treatment plant. What is the current status, and when can we expect this to come online?
This one, number 12, you said?
Number 12, this is the word standby generator. Is this the one that we are?
Yeah, we're advertising for it, and once we get bids in, quotes in, we'll make that decision. There's no time frame at this time.
Okay, and currently there is no standby generator for the treatment plant, or is there?
Yes,
one?
there
No, there is. We
Yeah.
apply, and this is true, this is the second one, right?
Yes,
Yeah, we are
this is
applying
the
to FEMA to see if, since, the plan, can accommodate 2. So we're trying to see if FEMA will pay for a second one.
So this would be a redundant generator.
Yeah, it would be two. Instead of having one.
Number 19 ends in 68, the bid is being rejected. Yet again, is that because there were no responses, or is this, what is this contract for?
This is the radio maintenance and for the police department. I don't know if anybody, Joanne?
Yes. It was rejected to the vendor because of non-compliance. The vendor did not submit the required addenda. By law, when you do addenda to the spec, it has to be submitted at time receipt of bid, and they did not, so I had to reject it.
Okay. Number 22 ends in 61. It's the repair of 777 Jersey for the DPW. What does that mean?
Department of Public Works.
Mr. Golden?
Mr. Golden, do you know about that one? I don't
Sorry,
see
I do
Mr.
not.
Severino here.
We'll find out.
We will find out for you, Mr. President.
$33,000. Does anybody know what's going on at 777 Jersey Avenue?
It was equipment and labor, and I know there was various stuff that they did. I think it's roof and some other stuff, but we could get you the correct information.
Because I don't, this is not the address of the DPW.
It was the roof and some of it, yeah.
The roof of 777 Jersey, because that's not the DPW. The DPW is 400 Jersey. I know they have their roof replaced, but 777 Jersey is where the
That's the
Board of
department,
Elections.
that's the Board of Election, you're absolutely right. The address is incorrect. Because because 777 is the Board of Elections.
Yes, that's right.
So it's a typo. Thank
Sorry.
you.
Oh, so this is the new roof for 400 Jersey
Of
Avenue.
course, yes. Sorry.
But I could clear that up. I do want to ask the car that Mr. Larabina asked about. Is it safe to assume that's for Mr. Atkins?
I don't, it is for him, yes.
It's not for me,
Not
it's
for you?
it's for a rotation for inspectors to use on their rounds.
It's as needed.
Okay, so it won't be a take-home vehicle.
It's for the inspection department.
Right, it's not a take-home vehicle, it's not for one person, it's for the whole
I
team.
cannot tell you
or-
that right now, Mr. Crowder. I don't know. It
So-
might be, that's depending on who is assigned to. I don't have that answer to you right now. I cannot tell you that he will not be.
Okay, so we're not sure if this is going to be a take-home vehicle or not.
I am not able to answer that question.
Okay, who would be?
As soon as Mr. Larkin is here, or we will find out that
If
information for
if
this
it's
information.
an as-needed basis to stay here overnight, unless we ask one of the inspectors to take it home in case he needs to go out that evening for any emergency. But right now, it'll be here.
Thank you very much. Number 25 ends in 74, release of site inspection fees for the New Brunswick High School. Why are those inspection fees being refunded at this point? So isn't the building been open for 4 years already?
Mr. Golden?
Yeah, we're a little late in getting some of these out. We've been trying to do 2 or 3 each council meeting. We probably have a good 10, 12 of them that we need to release yet from older projects that are still sitting in an account that was filed by the developer, and these are the monies that are left over and get refunded to them.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. President, anything else you have? You want to say?
Okay, well then I guess I'll ask about 27, the new judge in New Brunswick. Does anybody have experience with this person? Are you confident that he's the right person for the job?
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, I know Jim Hobish for a long time, his family, he's respected, he's a judge in, I think, 3 other towns or 2 other towns. He's well represented, and I think he'll do a great job.
I also know him and have been around him and his family. I've seen him work at other places, so I have all the faith in him.
I don't know him personally, but I am quite very impressed about his resume and the work that he has done. So yes, we are confident.
Okay. Number 31, contract for $58,000 for sanitary sewer infiltration inflow investigation. Where is that taking place, and what exactly is that?
Mr. Golden?
Yeah, we've performed 3 or 4 of these in the past, and we're trying to investigate the sewers throughout the city. This particular contract will be the area over by College Avenue, in that area of the city. We go in there with a camera, we investigate the underground pipes, and determine whether or not they need to be replaced.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do want to ask about each of the last three. 35 is the Railroad Avenue and Library Pump Station upgrades. What is that? Is that for the water system? Or?
Just hold it.
No, that's for the sewage system.
Okay.
We have 6 pumping stations in the city. We've upgraded 4 of them. These are the last 2.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping me understand that. 36, the police impound lot. I just wanted to ask, so you're advertising it, does that mean that a private company might run the lot or help the department manage it? Why is the city going outside for help with this?
No, we have prepared plans and specifications for the construction of the impound yard. We need to go out to bid to get a contractor to come in and build those facilities, which include storm drainage work, it includes parking area. There's a building proposed for the project. So these are actually construction plans that have to be publicly bid.
Mr. Anderson.
The usual way when they have to get service of this kind is to bid for it. And that's all the advertisement is to authorize the bids to be published and solicited.
So it's for the construction of the impound lot. I just wanted to make sure of that. And then the last one is what's going on with Tula Restaurant, number 37.
Mr. Hammond.
The restaurant was shut down. It's going to be reopened, and as I understand it, the length of the bar inside is being shortened at each end, and other than that, it's just cosmetics.
So it was shut down by whom?
Themselves. The
They
owners.
closed them.
Okay. And so they're just redoing it because they want to? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? You have 5 minutes to address the council on the specified resolutions that we just had.
Again, another question about 1484. The Railroad Avenue pump station, is that anywhere near Charles Street? And will that help alleviate backup water onto Charles Street?
Mr. Golden, we addressed that at the last meeting about Charles Street, but we could address it again.
It's located by Howard and Railroad Avenue.
So we won't have that. Okay.
On Charles Street, if you want to give an update of what we said at the last time, we said at the last meeting, Mr. Golding, that North Brunswick and
We've
the county
done
are working.
some investigation on the brook. I'm meeting with Public Works tomorrow. We're going to clean out some sections of the brook and the culvert that goes under the railroad track that might have been holding water back. I'm meeting with the county tomorrow to see where we are with the permit that has to be filed for us to do the replacement of the culvert that's under Charles Street. So we are moving forward as fast as we can. We're waiting for a signature right now from the county.
Oh, that's very good to know. My daughter's school is right there. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Have we done? I would entertain a motion to approve resolutions.
Motion? Second.
Councilmember Anderson.
Do we have to do anything with that change of address at all?
The one on the Public Works.
No, I just noted this is a typo.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council Vice President Egan.
Yes.
Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.
Aye.
Council President Escobar.
Yes, but I am abstaining of resolution 466.
So noted.
Thank you. At this time, before we go into the public part of the meeting, I just want to give a few updates on some of the questions and some of the concerns that were brought up to us, to the council at the last council meeting. There was a question about when the construction of the raw water pump station was going to take, the upgrades is going to take place. So the projected construction schedule is as follows. The bid opening is going to be on about September 16th. The award of the contract on or about October 7th. And the completion 330 calendar days thereafter. There was a concern about some bricks that were left unsecure for those, the construction company doing the bikeway project. We contacted the county and they are aware that we asked them to secure the piles of bricks. For the water department, there was an update that it was on the city webpage today, but we continue to, negotiations continue, and most likely for the next meeting, we will have the contract agreement done by then. There was a question about some police cars. There was a question about police car number 926, and the police car 926 was rear-ended on February 2nd, 2014, while it was parked at the scene of a motor vehicle accident on Johnson Drive. There was a question on car number 907, and police car 907 was stopped at a red traffic light on Eastern Avenue and was struck by another vehicle on December 18, 2013. And the police department has no record of a city vehicle striking a pedestrian on February 10th of this year. There was some, there were some reports in terms of the shelter, the animal shelter in Javera. Based on that, an article that the Home News had, the city contacted the Middlesex County Office of Health Services to find out. They assure us that they did inspections and everything seems to be in place. Plus, we ourselves, Mr. Marqueta, with some members of the city employees, went to see, make unannounced visits to the shelter to see the conditions, and if you could tell us a little bit, Mr. Marqueta, about it.
I stopped in last Thursday unannounced, explained to what it was, and the director of the animal shelter was more than happy to welcome me, show me around the facility, took me throughout the 7,000 square foot facility, showed me how they segregate the animals, those that are about to be adopted, those getting ready for adoption, those that are sick, that are being treated by a vet. They have, they keep these dogs and cats separate from each other, and it was a clean facility. You would think there'd be an outstanding odor, and there wasn't in the facility. And that was on last Thursday. I again went yesterday with a member of the Brunswick Police Department and our health department. And again, it was the same situation, a very well kept animal shelter. And the dogs and cats all seemed, except for the ones that were sick, that were just very lethargic, the others seemed very alert and aware and happy.
Thank you. There was also a question about an accident involving a city employee, and a city employee from the water department was involved in an accident on May 12th of this year. He hit a telephone pole on Nickel Avenue while trying to avoid hitting a squirrel. The driver was issued a careless driving summons and is not allowed to operate a city vehicle until further notice. There were some questions about city vehicles and the assignment of the vehicles to employees. So city vehicles are assigned to 23 city employees. They are assigned to some department heads, Mr. Watkins, Reddy, Blevins, and Caputo, and to other staff members who are required to respond to emergency situations such as water main breaks, sewer backups, unsafe housing situation, animal control situations, traffic signals problems, fire investigation, and so forth. Those assignments are reviewed by the administrator and the mayor annually for their appropriateness. There was also a question about Rutgers University PD and Brunswick PD in terms of the DUI summonses issues from 2013 to 2014. And I'm going to give you some information on that. For the month of January of 2013, Rutgers University had 2 and New Brunswick Police had 7. For January of this year, Rutgers University had 1 and New Brunswick Police 6. For February of 2013, Rutgers University had 5 and New Brunswick 7. For 2014 on February, Rutgers University has 0 and New Brunswick has 7. March of 2013, Rutgers University had 4 and New Brunswick had 10. For March of this year, Rutgers University had 4 and New Brunswick had 6. For April, Rutgers University had 7 and New Brunswick, 6 and New Brunswick had 7. For April of this year, Rutgers University had 12 and New Brunswick had 5. For June of 2013, Rutgers University had 1 and New Brunswick had 2. For June of this year, Rutgers University has 0 and New Brunswick had 10. In July, Rutgers University had 3 and New Brunswick had 5. And in July of 2014, Rutgers University had 1 and New Brunswick had 7. So the totals for 2013, Rutgers up to July, Rutgers had 24, New Brunswick 46, and for 2014, Rutgers University had 20, and New Brunswick had 47. So in total, there's a difference. In 2013, with the same period of time, there were 70, and this year so far has been 67 in total for both. And I think I covered most of it. At this time, we're going to start the public portion of the meeting. Just to remind you, please state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes to address the council.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Marie Tacey. I live on 15 Longfield Road, New Brunswick, New Jersey, and I've been a resident of New Brunswick for about 34 years. I would like to know why my water turns brown from time to time and why we're not given notice. This just happened recently on August 9th, Saturday. I got up in the morning to take a shower. The water was brown. Years ago, I can remember getting notices that they were going to be flushing the pipes, but we don't anymore. And this certainly doesn't give me a level of comfort. I'd like to know why this happens so often and why is the water brown? Could somebody please answer that question for me?
I don't have any reports on that. We'll look into it and I'll get your information and get back to you.
Thank you. I'm very concerned about it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your.
Hi, yes, my name is Danielle Moore. I live at 211 Joyce Comer. First, I would like to give a message to Councilor Galati. I know I've been neighbors with you for at least 5 years, even though I could never tell due to I don't see you. But maybe 1 out of 10 times how you would speak. But I just have a message for you. Due to how you see that the house is up for sale, you see me giving a yard sale where I realize how you come by. Hi, Danielle. Well, I never seen you so happy in my life, how you're so happy due to where you see me doing yard sale and the house was up for sale. And then I just want to let you know, okay, that believe me, I'm not going anywhere, so I don't know what you're so happy about because I have enough income to take care of myself to where I still will be in New Brunswick, so I don't know what you're getting happy about. It's good to see you're happy.
I think that this Carlani was just being polite to you.
Like I said,
if she would have not said anything, you would have to say something. She didn't say hi to you.
excuse me, like I said, you were not there, but like I said, as long as we've been neighbors, due to where maybe 1 time how she speaks to me, and her husband would speak to me, but she wouldn't. And like I said, due to where she's happy to see what's going on, but I'm letting you know I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you, Ms. Daniel. You have
two things. That's where Captain, that's regards to that 161 Joyce Comer Avenue. His name is Mr. Leonard. I can't pronounce his last name. There's been over 16 counts of robbery. Monday night, they put him up for a warrant for fraud due to where he's been putting his house for rent on Craigslist. He's been renting it out, taking deposits from people 4 at a time, where Monday he's gotten away over $3,000 where he can't even rent the house out. I heard that the officers, they pressed charges on him. Like I said, he is wanted, but I hope the city and New Brunswick Police Department will do something to put a padlock on this house so he will stop listing that and taking people's security deposit. So please, I hope you take action with that. On the next time, I will bring you the pictures of how the house is where it shouldn't even be rented out at all.
Thank you.
I will give you the pictures, and then my next thing, I would like to know what is the city's plan, the city and New Brunswick Police Department plan when school is reopened? Is there going to be a crossing guard or a police car on the corner of Delavan and Livingston? What is the situation? Because there's no way that one crossing guard is going to be able to cross the kids. The school is bigger, 2 times as many schools. So what is the plan?
We will find out for you, Ms. Danielle.
Because as of now, due to where I took over 20 pictures today to show you, even though they made this into, it's supposed to go into 1 lane, but there's over so many pictures to show what you, by the time you get to Delavan Street, you still have four cars still coming in. The 1 lane doesn't come in effect until after Delavan, and then it makes Comstock and Livingston safe. But the way things go, how do you expect 1 crossing guard where you have 1 walkway this side, 1 walkway that side, 1 walkway and 1 walkway? How do you expect 1 crossing guard on Livingston and Delavan to cross each walk? You know you're going to have some kids who don't listen, it's true, but please tell me, I think you need to do something about that as soon as possible, where the city and the police department will get together before another situation happens.
Thank you, Ms. Danielle. We will.
Well, like I said, please take the time to look at all the pictures to show that 1 lane situation coming down, starting from Nassau Street. If you can say how many accidents you done had at Nassau and Livingston and Delavan and Livingston due to where it's not working. Because as you come out, if you're at a corner and you come out from a light, the light turns green. What do? You're picking up speed. And like I said, after Delavan, that's where you turn into 1 lane. So please, I hope you do something quickly due to where school will be starting in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you. Here you go.
Good evening. Noble Aaron El Shaddad. I have a couple of questions. One, do all city employees sign into work on a roll call duty sheet of some sort?
What is the process?
There's no time clock, no duty sheet.
Okay, so how do you determine whether employees were in attendance that day for work or whether they weren't?
What is the process?
Their supervisor checks on everybody who comes in.
So there's no record of whether an employee was at work or not? Is that what they're stating?
Supervisor signs off, I'm not sure it's every week or every other week. And it's a sign off
Every other.
who was there to work.
So what is the name of that actual record that they must, the supervisor signs off?
The time sheet.
The timesheets?
It's a time sheet. I fill one out every 2 weeks.
That's the name of the record, a time,
That's
New
what
Brunswick
they,
time sheet?
that's the form that they utilize to record the employee
Yes, ma'am.
attendance timesheet.
I understand, but I need to know the exact name of that government record.
It's
I
asking
can produce one, an empty one, that just, you have to put your name, your supervisor's name, the days for that time period, and then your sign at the bottom.
So we will give you a copy of, if you have a
Yes,
class
I have
one.
one copy.
Okay, great, thank you. Now, that includes all city employees, correct?
Is that the process for all city employees, or there's different procedures for?
I'm not exactly sure on how each one does. To my
The
knowledge,
time sheet-
everybody has the time sheet. Everybody has filled the time sheet, so you can go to personnel.
I'm sorry, let me be a little more clear than maybe. I'm saying, say, municipal judges, municipal prosecutors, those are city employees. Is it documented when they show up for work, and do they sign the same type of sheets that any other city employee signs?
We don't, do you have that answer? We'll find out, we don't have that answer, Mr. Shabazz.
Okay, do you
So
know
I think
when I'll be
that's-
able to get the answer, Bond?
Mr. Hamilton, when
I'm
can
sorry, I
we
didn't
get,
hear,
when can he get an answer to how, what is the process for release for judges, for prosecutors in terms of attendance?
I'll try and find out tomorrow.
Okay, so will I have to wait till the next council meeting, or will I be able to
No, no.
contact you, or
If
how
I
will
get
it
us,
work?
If you can send me the information, I look forward to
I'll
Mr.
give it
Shabazz.
to Council President, she can set it up.
Thank you.
And I look forward to you.
Thank you very much. Second question, pursuant to the protocols, was the hearing of Mr. McDougal audio recorded?
No.
Could the council please explain why, for the second time in a row, a hearing review was not audio recorded?
Mr. Gagan or Mr. Hamilton, who would like to answer that question? Mr.
Because
Gagan.
there was court report.
There was a court reported there.
I understand that, but the protocols clearly state that it will be audio recorded, and that audio recording will then be forwarded to the police director. So that's in violation of the protocols for the second time. The first time it happened, I was told it was because I was allowed some extra step to bring a videographer and record. There was no videographer brought this time, there was no special request made. So why weren't the protocols followed?
What does the protocol states, Mr. Hamilton?
No, that it looks like we did it wrong, but we'll check it out.
No, I have the protocols here, so
So
do
let's
you want to
just,
see the protocols? It states what I'm telling you it states.
I
Do you
know
need
it
to
does,
see
that's
it?
why, that's why, I'm asking him that that's why
Right,
he
so
said that
they
he.
violated them. He's saying it looks like it. It doesn't look like it. They violated the protocols for the second time in a row. Why?
Ms. Gagan,
It was a stenographer present, and the transcript was produced. That is what the judge asked to do, and we decided to do it that way.
So they violated the
So
protocol.
we are,
That is the answer.
that's, so is,
And you can ask it 3 more times. That is the answer. The judge and I, that's what we decided to do, and the transcript was produced to Mr. McDougal.
Now, what I would like to ask the council is, since the protocols clearly state that it's supposed to be audio recorded, and since the city attorney / pretend community liaison just emphatically, rudely made it clear that they violated, and they don't care that they violated, they did what they wanted to do, what would be the disciplinary action taken for them violating the protocol?
Mr. Anderson, you have something to say?
I don't think she's a pretend, so just a point of order.
Well, I mean, that's your opinion. Right now, I'm speaking, I'm giving my opinion. I think she's
He
pretending.
was just making sure that that's, to clarify, that's a point of order. Mr. Hamilton, we need to,
We have a whole lot of things that when these 2 cases are over, you all have indicated on a number of occasions, and I think you're absolutely correct to do it, to look at the procedures, to see if they need to be changed, or taken, or followed more closely. And that's what I think you promised to do. We'll certainly cooperate with that.
That wasn't the question I asked. the council.
I will, you asked how to, what it will be the.
I'm saying she clearly violated the protocols and made it clear that she doesn't care. The attitude demonstrated is an unprofessional, arrogant, rude attitude where I violated it and so what? So I want to know, what is the council going to do as far as taking disciplinary action for the violation, the clear, deliberate, willful violations?
Mr. Anderson?
This game works for me. I'm her superior. I saw nothing rude. I saw nothing out of order for her. I'll talk to her about the fact that there was no, but other than that, nothing's going to happen.
I just, and I appreciate
Exactly.
that, I appreciate that you talked to Ms. Gaten, and I don't think she was rude, she was just, pointing, she was just in her answer. But what I will tell you is that, and I don't feel comfortable by that fact that if that's what the procedure says, that we did not do it. The reason is the decision that she made. I don't know. I would like to talk to her later on about it and see. But as it is, as what is presented here, I personally don't we need to follow the procedure. That's why we've been saying from the get-go.
Madam Council President, she also said that the judge was part of that decision.
That's what I'm saying, both of them, and I would like to know why that was done.
Exactly. The hearing officer was part of violating the protocol. So he's just supporting my position that they deliberately, both of them in concert, act together to violate the protocols, which essentially, ultimately, serve to undermine the hearing review process.
What I will say to you, Mr. Shabazz, I don't know if it was deliberately or not. I don't think that, I just want to hear.
Two cases in a row, Ms. Escobar. Come on, Council President. That's deliberate.
I want to see what happened.
Yes, ma'am.
It's a minute and so that we.
A minute and so. Okay, well, points regarding the hearing process is the hearing process is a very simple process. I demonstrated that the last time that I was here. I read from Hearing Officer Hoffman's own scope of review, his own hearing report, where he said he's not supposed to do an investigation. That's not his scope, that's not his purpose. To further support that, I have my hearing transcripts, and at the end of the hearing transcripts, I asked him. He says to me, all right, I think I understand your points. Now, do you have any questions you want to ask me? I said, well, could you please explain the process to me now, what happens next? He goes on to say, the process next, as I understand it, is in 10 business days, I'll get the transcript, I'll review it, and then I will inform you of my decision. That's the process in a nutshell. You see how simple that is? He gets the transcripts in 10 business days, and then he will review it and inform us of his decision. It doesn't take months, yet mine took 3 months to finally get a decision, and now Mr. McDougal's is going on about 3 months. He's violating the process. They just admitted it. Ms. Gayton just admitted it, that they violate the process, and they make their own decision to violate it at will. So we're going to have to do something about this, but to sum it up, I filed a formal complaint for unethical conduct against Ms. Gayton as well as Mr. Hoffman. Did the council receive it? I emailed it to Council President and Councilman Flynn. As well as, I believe,
Mr. Shabazz, to time yourself, I just want to acknowledge that we did receive it. I wasn't able to open it. For some reason, my computer would not allow it to open it.
Well, it's okay. I have a hard copy here for you right now. Now I hand it to someone.
We will, Ms. Gayton, you wanted to say just to finalize, because it's
Just about the transcript. One of the reasons the judge asked for the transcript is that so that when he is reviewing the testimony, he can have a hard copy right there in front of him so that he can review and go back and see what was said by him, what was said by a witness, what was said by Mr. Shabazz. That is what we do in a court proceeding, rather than having to rewind and go back and look for a specific thing. So he thought it better to have a transcript, a court reporter there, so that we can have a hard copy. There was no deliberate attempt to violate anything, but to make the process better.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Charles. Points.
Just as far as my complaint, I want to know what will be the next steps taken. I formed a formal complaint for unethical conduct.
Because this time is up, Mr. Hamilton.
The complaint is before the wrong body.
Well, what is the right
Why
body?
is it? He's going to tell you right now, Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Shabazz.
Complaints of violations of the city's ethics ordinance go to the ethics board.
The ethics board.
Can you please provide me with the address to this ethics board? Because I'm not familiar with this ethics board.
Mr. Therese is right here, right, Mr. Therese?
Just bring it to my office.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chavez. And by the way, in terms of the ethics board, before we had, there was a meeting, I believe this week, and it was canceled, and we, from our part, we did not put the sign that saying that it was canceled, so it was, we would make sure that that will not happen again.
Dan told me he did post it.
Well, he did post it, I thought that.
No, I did not post it.
I'm sorry,
didn't.
I'm sorry.
So that's why I'm saying it. So, thank you. Yes, Mr. Carter.
Good evening, once again, Charles Cradaville.
You have 5 minutes, Mr. Carter.
I need to begin by asking you to promise me that you will please not end this meeting when there are still other people who want to talk.
I will promise to do that if people behave and they follow the protocol of how to behave in a meeting. And you yourself told me that the last time it was very disrespectful what it was done, and that shouldn't have happened. So you know that I am open but we need to stop it at a time when there's nothing moving, we cannot move it forward.
The bottom line is, you are violating people's rights when you do that, and that's the
No,
second
I'm not.
time you've done, no, yes, you are. When citizens are waiting to speak, and you end the meeting or pass the thing that they are waiting to speak on, that is a violation of the citizens' rights. And there are no two ways about it. I'm asking you, will you promise me that tonight you will
I am
not
not
do
going to
that?
promise you anything because I have the right on the Robert Rules of Law to just stop the meeting or throw the person out. And sometimes the person, to me, it's better to stop because sometimes if I throw the person out, they might create even more havoc. And the times that I have stopped the meeting, the people that have been waiting have already spoken to the council.
What message does that send to the public?
And that the public, as well as us, all of us, because I'm not excluding us, that we need to behave and know how to address a council and know the procedures.
Right, what message does that send to the people who are just waiting their turn to speak,
They should
and you
talk-
deny them the right to speak?
I am not
What
denying-
message does that send about whether or not people should come to the council meetings?
Okay, we don't want to win this one, Mr. Carlos, so I already expressed my opinion, I listened to yours, so what is your question before the 5 minutes are up? You wasted a minute and a half.
Who's the attorney for the ethics board?
Mr. Hamilton, who's the attorney?
At the moment, there is none because there hasn't been any complaints filed in about 3 years.
It's not Mr. Hamilton?
It has been in the past, it's not at the moment.
So they have no attorney? When was the last time they had a meeting?
You just said that they have not been a complaint, an attorney, because they haven't been a complaint filed in the last 3 years.
Okay, I have one right here for you, I'm gonna give it to you.
Thank you. That's it, give it to Mr. Teresi.
5 for the council, 1 for you, Mr. Teresi, and 1 for Mr. Hamilton. I also thought that everything that Mr. Shabazz said was on the money, and at a time like this, it is very important to not be violating people's rights. And that is exactly what that internal affairs procedure has done when you don't follow the rules. I think it is disgraceful and disrespectful to him and to the other people who've gone out of their way to try to right some of the wrongs in this police department. And I really am going to be disappointed if you join them in violating people's rights tonight by ending the meeting early. So I do want to, I thought he was on the money when he brought up things about supervisors, so I do want to ask, can I confirm, Ed O'Rourke and Mike Mahoney are suspended without pay?
Yes.
Right. And so, Mr. Mahoney is accused of being in possession of a distribution quantity of cocaine in his city vehicle, a take-home vehicle. Who was his direct supervisor?
Do we have that information? Who is Mr. Mahoney's
That would
direct
be
supervisor?
Robert Ross.
Robert Rolls?
I'm pretty sure.
Robert Rawls. And regarding Mr. Rawls, I brought up some information to you after the meeting. What's your reaction to the information I brought you?
We brought the information that he had a shoplifting case of maybe like 15 years ago, I think it was.
There was a criminal record for 2 counts of simple assault, guilty pleas, and a shoplifting charge.
Almost 15 years ago.
It was 25 years ago. It was
25 years ago?
1989.
Yeah. So the only thing I can tell you is that 25 years ago is a long time, and I believe in second chances, especially if after 25 years they haven't been any other criminal. So somebody who has a criminal charge of 25 years, and I'm talking in general, and is looking for an employment, that's why I was so happy when they passed the ban the box to give opportunities for people to have a chance to look for employment, especially when they had to get the record in terms of criminal activity gene. So to me, they deserve, if you're talking about a year ago, 2 years ago, then I would be a little bit more, but if it's something that, if everybody deserves a second chance in a situation like that. Plus, as far as I could tell, that whatever situation happened has not affected his work as the director of the fire department. Mr. Fleming.
I just want to concur because I've been working with a few groups right now on second chance and reentry, and I think it's discriminatory when you dig into somebody's past, especially 25 years ago. I think it's things that I was doing 25 years ago, and I don't think there's almost anybody in this room that wants their record dug into 10 years ago that would exclude them or preclude them from doing things, especially if somebody has been. We know that certain groups have been incarcerated at higher rates, certain groups have been discriminated against at higher rates, And then the society right now, when a person gets released, and I'm not even saying we're talking about a simple assault. I'm talking about people who have been incarcerated. We should be looking to employ them and not disparage them when they get out of that situation. And I think that's outright inflammatory and discriminatory, and it's outrageous that we would even bring that up 25 years ago.
I appreciate your opinion. I do want to ask, in 2005, is it true that Director Rawls got in a physical fight on the job with one of his coworkers?
We don't have that information at this time.
No record of that? It was not adjudicated in the court?
I said that I have no knowledge of that. I haven't read this, 2005?
Okay. I've only been asking about it for about a month now. And so you said you weren't concerned about things from 25 years ago because it's 25 years ago, doesn't matter. But what about 2005?
I still feel the same, 2014, Mr. Catable.
Okay, so it doesn't matter.
No, I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I said that people deserve a second chance.
Okay.
Especially, but again, I don't know what this case is all about.
Right. And so how many crashes has he been in city vehicles?
I have no knowledge of that. I have no counted them all. I know there's a record.
You haven't counted them all because there's so many.
Some of them have been in city vehicles, some of them are not, so I don't.
Does anyone have the figure?
What is your question, Mr. Catable?
My question is how many crashes has he been in his vehicle since, we gave him a city take-home vehicle, it's not his vehicle, it's the taxpayer's vehicle. How many times has he crashed a city vehicle?
Do you know how many times since?
Is it more than 3?
He doesn't know, we don't know. Mr. Hamilton doesn't know at this point, and he's not here to answer that question, so we don't have.
Really, no clue. How many? Can you tell me, to get a city vehicle, it was revealed at the last council meeting that you do not have your driving record checked. All 23 of those city vehicles we talked about were given to people without checking their driving records. Does any part of the government check people's criminal or driving records before they're hired or before they're given driving privileges? For instance, the police, do they check? Is that acceptable?
Is that part of the city protocol? Is it yearly or just once when you get the employment?
There's a time of hire.
A time of hire and then later on you don't, a time of hire.
Right, and do you think that's fair?
They're checking my work every year, so I don't know, everybody has a different policy.
Well, I'm saying this is the city government, this is part, you're saying that it's not okay to look into people's past, but the police do it for every applicant, and they look at their driving record too, and they require them to have a valid license to be an officer.
If there gets to be a need, if something comes to someone's attention that you've got an employee who may be a problem, certainly look at it. But there's not a screening done every year.
Every year is not.
Right, and so for all of the non-police employees, are there any criminal background checks or any driving record checks done?
In certain social service situations, I really need
Mr. Blevins?
Yes.
For social services, that is.
All of the employees of the youth services system or other social service, social service departments like Dial Ride Senior Center that have vehicles, we check them at the time of hire, and then, for example, this summer, one of my employees, the Police Safe Director, drove the vehicle that's assigned to me. We did a check on, what they call it, an abstract, before she was permitted to drive that, and her driving record was clear. So mine was done some time ago, but because she was going to drive the vehicle for the second time, she had driven it the previous summer also, we had an abstract done this June before she was able to drive the vehicle. So that's just within the social services department.
Who was Mr. Rawls' immediate supervisor? Not Mr. Laughlin?
I'm sorry?
Not Mr. Laughlin?
Mr. Laughlin or the mayor?
I'm sorry, it'd be Mr. Laughlin and the mayor.
What's the difference, right? So my question is this then. Mr. Laughlin said at the last meeting that it's impossible, that he can't get people's driving abstracts unless they give them to him. That's not true. Mr. Blevins just said that he was able to obtain a driving abstract for someone who was just going to be driving as part of their job duties. Why on earth does the city not check driving records for people that they give a take-home car to? That's giving someone a car and letting them have it and apparently not have very much supervision. If Mr. Mahoney had distribution quantity of cocaine, and Mr. Rawls has been in so many accidents, why on earth doesn't the city start checking the driving records of people before they give them a take-home car? Please answer that.
Time is up. Mr. Hampton, you wanted to say something?
I want to talk to Lieutenant Miller right here because I think, I'm sorry, we didn't get you promoted, JT. So, I need to talk to him about some of that information because I think there is a real problem in getting a drug. I can't say I want to know whether you even need tickets like that. I just can't do that. I can't put it in pieces.
I guess, but I think that was, go ahead.
Did the employee talk about she requested the abstract and provided it to you?
Yes, in order for her to drive the city vehicle, I had the employee get the abstract from the Division of Motor Vehicles.
A person can request their own abstract. Apparently.
Yes.
Then bring it in,
That's
so
what we're
the person brought it in to you. Okay.
And that should be required.
Thank you, Mr. President. Time is up. Thank you.
To Mel Pittman, 291 Center Street, New Brunswick, New Jersey. I want to first start off by saying I had a great weekend. We had an event in Pieces Park. I teamed up with the Nation of Islam Mosque, number 85 on Hamilton Street, and put together a great event. I also understand that Councilman Fleming had a big part to play in that. I actually seen him at the event, and we actually released balloons together because I have a family member that was killed in New Brunswick. He had a family member that was killed in New Brunswick. It was good to release balloons together. It was a great event.
Mr. Vice, for a second, Mr. Reese, you can put that time, so go ahead.
There was no police presence. There was no incidents that took place. There was no disputes, no arguing. When you left the park was exactly the way it was prior to, group getting there. And that's like it's like the fourth or fifth event I was involved in that was like that this summer. There was no police presence and things of that nature. So one of the people that were responsible for throwing it, he actually was going to come down here and thank you guys and say, we appreciate what you did. And me personally, I'm thanking the residents in New Brunswick and the community of New Brunswick for actually doing it because they did a great job. If there was violence, if there was some shooting, or if there was any type of thing, it would be all over the city. Everybody would be talking about it. And then that would be an excuse for us to no longer have an event. See, the problem we've been having is you get 400 people, 2 people decide that they want to do something stupid, and they will cancel the entire event for the community for years, 5, 10 years, and then we got to fight to have something again. But normally in other communities, what they do is, take the Boston Bond situation, for example. When a situation happened like that, what they do is they come back stronger to show the perpetrators that we're not going to tolerate that. You didn't stop anything. But normally in our community, they do it. And if you mess up, that's it. You can't have anything. And I think there was red tape prior to that, because I'm on the inside looking out, and there was a lot of red tape that the city put in effect to make this happen. Last minute insurance policies and things of that nature. And at the end of the day, it still came through. But my problem is coming down here and asking permission from people that don't even have any intention of going into that park. None of you guys would never take your family, your children in Feaster Park after 8:30 or 9 o'clock. But you make the decision of whether we can go in that park or not. I have a big problem with that. So I'm glad he didn't come in here and thank you. I have a real big issue with me having to come and get permission. Never seen any of you guys. If an event, we publicize it. I'm quite sure if we have another event that you're not going to come. But in order to have that event, we have to get permission from you while you're probably home, sleeping in a whole different area, or whether we can go in. We had a great time. I see Mr. Ed Spence there. First thing he asked me was, where's your wife? Tell me, where's your wife and your kids? My wife is over there. Hey, watch out. My 3 kids are right here. I practice what I preach. So for me to have permission from somebody that wouldn't dare have their kids around in that atmosphere, period,
to get permission to be in that park, I have a big problem with it. But I'll leave that, but once again, I respect Councilman Fleming for coming out. He did show up, and it was a great event, and, for future reference, if I'm involved with an event, one thing I don't do is, I don't play politics at an event. I don't know what you heard about me, but I don't show off on people. I don't grab the mic and yell and call people out. I have 5 events, 300, 400 people each event. I never mention anything about the mayor, the city, I do all that here. So if you happen to want to come out, you could. That's not my person. And regardless of what picture you try to paint, I'm big enough that I don't have to do that. So, if you ever have the opportunity to come out, please come out. Feast the Park, wherever. I don't grab the mic and I don't do that. I'm comfortable with myself, and I know what platform I need to fight on. But that's neat. But it was a great event. I want that to be documented, that there was no problems, no violence, no situation whatsoever, and we'll do the exact same thing next year. Also recently, I spoke with Captain Miller in reference to 2 officers that I have a serious problem with. I like to take the diplomatic approach and have him sit down with these 2 officers, and we could come to some type of resolution about the conduct that I'm not only hearing, but I'm also seeing with these 2 officers. Captain Miller responded and said, he doesn't have a problem with sitting down, but it's up to the officers if they want to. Cool, all right. But that next day, after speaking to Captain Miller, the same 2 officers arrived by and taunt me. So I think that, I don't know if he spoke to them at this point, but it's irrelevant, because I think that they're going to do what they want regardless. But the importance of sitting down and talking shows that, you can get some results. One time I sat down with Captain Miller, and we discussed a situation of police officers choking individuals. This was probably about 5, 6
Mr.
months.
Pittman, I just want to make you aware that you have some time, so I'm going to give you 5 more seconds, because you passed already.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Okay, well, individuals choking people. Now, that's important to me that, after we sat down, we came to, I don't know what happened, but after that point, there was nobody being choked after that. So I know that meeting was important. And it's important to me too, because maybe we stopped a lot in the city of New Brunswick. When a young man in Staten Island got killed, or the man got killed named Eric Gardner in Staten Island, I was one of the first people that they called to come out there. And okay, I was one of the first people that they called to come out there and advocate for the community in Staten Island. And I'm thinking back to myself, if I was actually from Staten Island and had to sit down with that situation that happened. So I give Captain Miller props for implementing some type of whatever he did to stop that situation from happening. But these 2 officers now, they refuse to sit down. I think they could stop another tragedy.
Thank you, Mr. Pittman.
I'll come back.
Thank you.
I just one quick question. Why is it when the city is proven bad in a way, and let me see how I can say this. I realize you always say to each person, wow, you have 5 minutes to talk. Sometimes you go over 5 minutes when they're talking, but I realize, wow, every time someone proves you at being wrong in something, okay, your 5 minutes is up. Once someone has proof, either where the city or the police department or anything is wrong at what they're doing, their 5 minutes is up. Anything that's not proven, where I noticed that where, like I said, wow, they can go 10 minutes almost, but like I said, whenever you're proven to look bad or you did something wrong, wow, it's always 5 minutes.
Lisa, I disagree with you, but I respect your opinion. I disagree with you. That's not the case.
I'm here for an update from the last time I was here, so I don't need to waste my 5 minutes saying everything I've been saying for weeks and months and 2 years now.
I did after the last meeting, I met with Mr. Hamilton. I expressed, have some questions about what was raised here. And that's why when he said that we gotta look and see, and even what I heard today, so there's still some things that we continue. And I did, I have expressed my concerns to Mr. Hamilton about the process.
Okay, Mr. McDougal still hasn't heard anything.
It was my understanding that he was sent to Mr. Hamilton, Mr. McDougal.
It's my understanding it's going out this week. I don't know if it's actually gone out yet.
Yeah, they were sending, because I follow up also, that was one of the questions. And Mr. Gaten is not here to ask her, but it's my understanding that.
Why is she not here?
I think that she had, why she left, Mr. Hamilton.
She looked at me and indicated she'd like to leave, and we didn't have anything more that had to be addressed on the agenda.
Well, I don't think that you know whether or not, she knows we're here. If she sees me and she sees my husband, she knows we're here mainly for her role as a community liaison. So to look at Mr. Hamilton and get the okay to leave when we haven't left, I don't have any major issue right now except for her and Mr. Hoffman and this process that's failing us miserably. And we come here every 2 weeks, every third week, and we get nothing, and we still have nothing. My husband made the point that Ms. Gaden clearly stated that Mr. Hamilton basically made a decision, even though it went against the protocol, he made a decision.
Judge Hoffman.
Well,
Judge
he's no
Hoffman.
longer a judge, and he's a hearing officer,
Hearing
correct?
officer, yes.
Right, so Mr. Hoffman, and I think that's how he signed the report. I don't think he signed it,
You
Judge.
said Mr. Hamilton, I understood that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hoffman, I'm sorry. Okay, so Mr. Hoffman, I totally lost my train of thought, and this is ridiculous. Oh, man.
You were talking about you made a decision.
We're not getting anywhere. And she clearly stated that he made a decision to do one thing instead of follow the protocol, which is a violation. Mr. Hamilton said he's her supervisor, nothing's going to happen. That is the MO in the city of New Brunswick. You do wrong, nothing happens. If he did something wrong, he'd be held accountable for it. You know, he asked how the workers are monitored as far as pay. Oh, the supervisor fills out a timesheet. But when I come through the city of New Brunswick, they clock me from the time I get in, I'm paying until I leave this council meeting. But you don't keep track of your own employees. You can't put an electronic clock to clock if they actually work. Like, there's just so many things today alone that I'm hearing that shows in the city of New Brunswick, they don't care. My husband was riding through New Brunswick when all this happened. He was investigated on the side of the road, but his background was checked while on the side of the road. And I'm all for second chances, don't get me wrong. You know, if somebody's, 25 years and living their life, they made a mistake and they move forward, I have no problem with that. I actually commend somebody for changing their ways. But, New Brunswick does everything to everybody else but their own. And we want answers. I'm gonna come to the next council meeting, and I hope that by then, you have some answers. Mr. Hamilton said that they only had 2 people that requested the hearing, and after these 2, then you guys are gonna, I guess, readjust some things. But in the meantime, we need some results now. It doesn't make any sense that now Mr. McDougal is still waiting to hear from Internal Affairs when Ms. Gaten said on your record that the investigation was reopened and that Mr. Hoffman did give the recommendation. 5 weeks now, and he hasn't heard from the Internal Affairs unit at all. That's unacceptable.
Do you want to say anything?
Oh, excuse me. Mr. Hamilton, I left my email address with you at the last meeting with Charlie, and I still didn't get that information.
I don't know why I gave it to my secretary. I sent out the citation. It was
You gave it on that.
48-14-155, and I sent it out in writing and put a note on it. I was only doing it the one time, so I clearly remember doing it.
You said 48.
You just said the
14-155. Are there any dots in between this anywhere?
40A:14-155.
40A:-
No, 14.
40A:14-155.
I'm sorry, you were speaking to him.
Aaron Al Shabazz, Somerset. I I know the mayor takes on an honorific title, refers to himself as the Honorable Mayor Cahill. Municipal magistrates take on honorific title, referring to themselves as the Honorable Judge such and such. An honorific title such as the Honorable so-and-so is a very important title. It's not just supposed to be some empty formality that people take on. It's supposed to mean that you're really honorable. I saw a form the last meeting that I was at where I guess an organization presented something to the council and they referred to every member on this council as the Honorable Rebecca Escobar, the Honorable Glenn Fleming, so on and so forth. Now, what I would like to point out is the only thing that qualifies someone to refer to themselves as honorable is good moral character. And good moral character, the foundation of good moral character is honesty. Honesty is the root of the word honorable. You cannot be honorable if you are not honest. To be honorable, one must be honest. Clear cut. Dishonesty disqualifies one from being worthy of being called honorable. Now, the point I am making is I'm not calling anyone on the council dishonorable. What I am stating is, to be honorable, you must be honest. So what I'm saying is, I know that I have proven to you she has violated the protocols. Therefore, if you are honest, there is no way you cannot recognize and admit that she is dead wrong. Her and Mr. Hoffman. So if you are really honorable, then you must be honest and acknowledge that, admit it, and then part of being honest is to also then take steps to correct the problem. And taking steps to correct the problem is not allowing the head attorney to make excuses for his underling and to cover and protect her and say nothing's going to happen to her. The community liaison office, he's not her boss when it comes to being a community liaison officer. He's her boss when it comes to being a city attorney. She's an assistant city attorney and a community liaison officer. He may have authority over her as an assistant city attorney. He has no authority over her as a community liaison officer. The council established the community liaison office. Therefore, the council has all authority to discipline her as the community liaison officer.
Mayor Cahill.
Mayor Cahill and them. If they had to approve it, they're part of establishing it. Correct?
Absolutely.
And Council President Escobar has already told me before, she has the power, the council has the power to make changes and corrections because they have authority over her in that position. So, I don't have to address some ethics board over her violating the protocols of this particular office. The council has the ability to take disciplinary against her for violating her office as the community liaison officer. And I am respectfully requesting that you take disciplinary action against her. I've proven to you she's been dishonest. So she is standing right now in dishonor. I've proven she was dishonest. I sent videos to Council President Escobar and Councilman Fleming, and I know in the video, I put a compilation together of not every, but of multiple council meetings that I've been, and I've showed you where she contradicted herself. I clearly proved to you she lied with the council's own videos of each meeting. And to further, if you want me to further prove it, I got audio of meetings that I had with her, and I recorded her, and I can show you I got more lies. Now, if the community liaison officer lies, I proved to you she lies. You saw the video, so you know she lied. If you are really honorable, you will be honest and admit, I saw the video, she lied. And I don't need you to say that right now. You can say that amongst yourselves later on. But your silence to me is an answer. You saw the videos, and the videos prove she's a liar. She deliberately lied to me, and when a officer, a city employee who holds an office lies, that is an act of unethical conduct. When you willfully lie to a complainant about the hearing process, about the hearing reports, about talking to Mr. Hoffman, when you deliberately keep all the secret and only reveal it when you, Council President, put the pressure on her finally and made her answer some questions, only then did she finally tell the truth. So she had been lying to me all along. The evidence is on video. There's no denying it. He can't protect her from that. So, since he can't protect her from the evidence that I've already presented to you, that I got all over YouTube so the public sees it, you are now on the spot to have to prove your honor. Are you going to be honest and use your power as the council who has the authority to discipline the community liaison officer? Are you going to discipline her for blatantly lying to me, which is indeed an act of dishonesty, deliberate dishonesty, which constitutes unethical conduct by any standards? And furthermore, let me just say this and I'm done. Ethics and law are two different things. For an individual can be dishonest, unprincipled, untrustworthy, unfair, deceitful, and lying without breaking the written law. But ethical people measure their professional and personal conduct by fundamental ethical principles rather than by written statutes, legislation, codes, and institutional rules. Right? Honesty is the key of honor. She is dishonest. I've proven it. I am now requesting that you take disciplinary action. I've done it formally in my complaint anyway, but do you want to hear the evidence that I have on this audio? Or was the video enough?
I couldn't watch the video, but I've heard, and you know, we have met before, and I heard some of the
You heard some of the audio,
conversations, so I know that. I just want to point out, point well taken, I hear you, and time is up, actually, I give you
Yes,
a
ma'am.
time, but
Just
thank
do
you,
the right thing
thank
on
you,
this.
Mr. Chavez.
Good evening once again, Charles Cradaville. I have to agree with Ms. Moore. This 5-minute rule is, quite frankly, being used to evade questions. And I know a thing or two about that today because I had a conversation with our mayor. And he refused to answer questions about the city's water utility. And of course, he is the man in charge of it. He is the water director. And I see things on the agenda tonight dealing with the water system. Where is the water director tonight? He didn't think it was important enough to come?
Well, Mr. Carnival, I think that the mayor answered, the mayor didn't, you have to say what happened. You asked him a question on an activity and he did answer you. He did say that when you ask accurate and the report is truthful and what you report, that he would be more than happy to answer your question.
Right, that's not an answer to a question.
Well, I'm just telling you because you started, you know.
I was saying, I asked the question, he refused to answer it. In fact, I
Based
asked
on
it about
that.
6 times. And people can watch the video at BrunswickToday.com.
I saw it.
And
I saw
okay,
it.
oh, good,
He kept
good.
saying the same
Do
thing.
you think that was an acceptable way for a public official to deal with a citizen journalist asking him questions?
He gave you the right answer, according to him, he gave you. So if you have any question, he's not here, what is it that you need to go?
Great. The question I have is very simple. We were told that there was an agreement in place for
Yes.
about 45 days.
Yes.
And that there would be a vote, a proper vote, unlike the first vote, on whether or not to renew the city's agreement with American Water. Can you tell me, it's 45 days since the agreement went into effect today. What's happening? Why? What is the status?
And you got an update, there's an update in the city website, but I also.
I didn't get an update.
I'm giving you, can I finish? There's a website, that in the website you could look, but I don't know if you recall at the last meeting, we told you that the negotiations were still continuing with American Water, and for the first meeting of the council in September, we expect to have the contract ready for you to be approved.
Great.
We said that at the last council meeting, and I'm repeating it right now.
Right, and so my question is very simple. Will the mayor do like he did last time and sign the agreement before it's put to a public hearing and a vote? Or will the mayor allow the public input and the council to decide whether they want that agreement before it is implemented and signed?
I'm pretty sure, yes, Mr. Can you look at me?
I'm sure exactly what you're about to say, that the mayor will do it the right way.
And then,
In a very tight time frame the last time. And these rhetorical questions about what's somebody going to do? How do you know? You don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's going to do for sure.
Mr. Clement.
I just want to, we just said about a citizen journalist. Was the question asked of him as a citizen or was it asked as a journalist? And do you already have a formulated opinion before you consider yourself a journalist? Since we are dealing with truthfulness.
So, since I'm limited to 5 minutes, I won't be taking any questions from the council today.
But I think that's the evasive, I think you're evading the question. You got a minute, you got
We still have
about
time.
3 minutes.
We stop the clock when we
You'll
talk.
stop the clock for
We
that?
always do. We always
Okay, we
stop
always
and
do.
talk. We
So-
always do. When we talk, we stop.
I know,
So,
I know, I want to know how much time actually everybody has, so, but Mr. Teresi does it, but I do the whole thing.
well, I would rhetorically
This is-
question, will
this
the
is
answer be
official.
different if I'm a citizen or if I'm a journalist?
Yes, I
The
believe
answer's
so.
different.
Can I, because if you already formulated an opinion and you're advocating one way or another, I don't consider you a journalist anymore. I consider you an opinion writer at that point.
And the answers I get are different.
Hmm?
And the answers I would get then are different.
No,
As
I'm
a
just
citizen,
saying,
I'm not entitled to answers. if I have an opinion.
I'm just saying, since we, and Mr. Shabazz, I'm not about to talk to the board. I'm not saying bring up ethics because of what you brought up. I'm just saying ethics in journalism. If you are advocating one way or another, journalists should be unbiased at some point. If you want to be a respected journalist, you should be unbiased at some point and not advocate one way or another. When you advocate one way or another, that means that your articles are going to come out slanted because you already have a preconceived notion in your mind on how something should come out. So you're going to filter any information that you get through that lens. So now I ask, are you, I'm sorry, I want to stay within the realm. Are you asking the questions, and questions that you do ask, as a citizen or as a journalist?
Are you referring to the water department?
I'm talking about any time.
Yeah, I'd like to answer. I'm a credentialed journalist in the state of New Jersey. This morning I was attending a press event with the mayor, and I recorded the conversation on video because I was asking him as a journalist what the status was on the city's water system that he runs. Now, can I get my answer?
I don't think I said that because I'm a licensed teacher 99.9% of the time, but I'm also a council member. And I know that at some points I won't come and ask people questions as a teacher, and I don't pre-formulate an opinion. I don't come let's, for an example, Mr. Pittman, we talked about on Saturday. We talked about an event on Saturday. Was I a council member? Yeah, probably. But was I a citizen? Yes, I knew where to draw. I knew where to, if I was a council member, I don't have animosity with nobody. I'm just giving an example of Mr. Pittman. When I saw me and Mr. Pittman saw each other, we are. I consider us old friends. You know what I'm saying? I didn't come up and say, man, you know what you said like this? To me, it's all, you know what I'm saying, it's business. I got to advocate for something, he has to advocate for something. I didn't come up and say, you know what? You know what I'm saying? I didn't come up and say, you know what, I ain't dealing with you. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even, I felt nothing. I felt no type of, because I know how to separate that. I think that some people, they don't know how to draw the lines between advocating for something and then you're a journalist. And I think that you walk a fine line, and then sometimes you cross that line,
I couldn't agree more that the city is run like a business.
Okay, so, Mr. Carter, we don't have an answer to your question.
You don't know, so we don't know if the mayor is going to go behind your backs again and sign another longer privatization agreement to privatize the water.
We don't expect him to do that. Can I have the next question? Just use your voice.
Wow, oh my God, well, I have to finish up about these city vehicles. Is the city considering starting to check people's driving records before they're given take-home vehicles, or is that an idea that's still not yet
I don't have an answer
time?
to that at this point because that would give me some, Tom Blanton's information. When he gets back from vacation, I will talk to him about it
Yes, and so he is on vacation for how long?
this week.
This week, and how many vacations has he taken this year?
I don't know, Mr. Carter. It's
Because
an event.
I just remember 45 days ago when the water agreement was signed, he was on vacation then too. So that's two so far. There's Ireland, that's three.
Some people have accumulated vacation days. I don't know how many you have in a year, but some people have 20, 15, 20, depends on where you work.
I'm just saying. So I got questions about the water. The water director is the mayor. I track him down at an event and ask him questions. He refuses to answer them. He refuses to come to your council meetings. Mr. Laughlin is out in the wind. We don't know where he is. He's not answering the questions. So I think that we're not paying enough attention to the water here. There's a woman tonight who lives on Cahill's block who came here to say she's got brown water. What is the council going to do? When are you going to step up and start advocating? Because I'm advocating because people need to be advocating.
Mr. Carter, I think that we have a different definition of what advocating is to you. It's one thing to us we have been doing, and when the lady posed the question, we said that we were going to follow it because we didn't have any information. The water department is running fine, is working out. Our employees are the greatest employees and they know what they're doing. They're working fine with American Work Company at this point. As we said in the past, we want to make sure that this is not a long-term solution. We want to get a director. I always say that if I could get it by yesterday, it would have been here. So the water department is working. At this point, you want some more other questions that we don't have, but we are maybe not to your standard of what you're looking for, but we are aware of we're making sure that it keeps running smoothly as it is, and that because we live here and we're doing the water, that we are getting the best water that we have.
Well, I'm saying that these answers were insufficient tonight, and that next time, at the next council meeting, there better be somebody here with the answers.
I expect the same from you.
Or what? Or the water will go bad again.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just saying, there's been problems with the water, and they came at the hands of Mr. Laughlin when he was in charge, and I just want to point out, did you receive my email about Mr. Laughlin's email?
I don't know what you're talking about. What do you know?
So if someone emails tlaughlin@cityofnewbrunswick.org, that's how you can get to the de facto mayor of New Brunswick, Tom Laughlin, except when he's on vacation, the email address responds with a bounce back message that says that the email address doesn't exist. Is that the best practice for when an administrator goes on vacation, for their email address to actually take the extra step of shutting it down so that they miss emails that they might be getting from partners, other governments, citizens, employees? Is that the best practice? And is there anyone else who follows that practice in city government?
I think we should check tomorrow with, what's his name? I don't know. Mike Rules, yes. I don't know how he sets the addresses up. We'll find out.
Okay.
Okay, so when you check your emails, you'll see that
We're almost done. Your time is almost done.
Okay, well, I'll be back.
We almost today, we're gonna have it,
No,
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him about something else. So go ahead.
Right, so I'll be back if my time expires as per the rules. I do just want to ask, is it true that there was an employee in the water utility who left unprofessional voicemails on his colleague's voicemail?
I have no knowledge of that. That's a personal matter, and I have no knowledge of that.
Okay, I guess, again, the water, nobody's here to talk about the water, so I guess I'll just have to wait on those answers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And you know what, I'll wait, and I'll be back. Thank you.
I just want to make clear something about the 5 minutes. Mr. Hamilton, did you bring the statute?
Oh, yeah.
Can you just put it forward? Do you have it with you?
No, I'll get it.
I thought you had it with you. I just want to clear something out about the 5 minutes. Because actually, the statute just says only 5 minutes, one time. So you're clear that it's not that we are being undemocratic and we don't, because that's what the statute says in the city of New Brunswick, that there is 5 minutes of addressing the council at one time, 5 minutes. It's just that I personally have opened it to, that they could come back. But the statute actually doesn't do that. So I just want you to be clear that I am the one that is not following what the ordinance says. So the ordinance says just at one time, just to keep it clear. Okay?
So with all due respect, will I be allowed back to speak again?
That's why I'm saying that today. You have already twice, and that's enough. Unless you have something that is really killing you that you need to.
Oh, I do.
I do. If not, we'll wait for the next.
I'm really serious about this. This is a precedent that is now being changed.
It hasn't been changed. I'm just telling you what it has been, what the law says.
I've been coming to these meetings for a long time.
I'm
aware of the precedent.
I am the one that I have been, because I interpreted, yes.
We'll have the ordinance statute posted for next.
Yes, for the next, so you could look at it.
Right, and so will I be allowed to speak again tonight?
Go ahead, Mr. Craddock. Thank you.
I'll be allowed to speak?
5 minutes are up. There's somebody else.
I'm just asking. I'm asking if I yield the floor, will I be allowed to come again and speak?
And I will let you know as soon as you're done, and I will let you know when we're done with the gentleman behind you, Mr. Pittman.
So you've yet to make up your mind whether I'll get to speak again tonight?
Go ahead, Mr. Craddock. You're wasting time.
I'm out of order.
You're out of order.
I'm just asking a simple question. This is,
Mr. Craddock,
I have the floor. If I yield the floor, will I get it back? Will I get it back? If I yield it?
We let you know. That's what I
You'll
said.
let me
Can you
know.
just
All
sit
right.
down and let somebody talk? Because
All
you're
right. I think you would be wise to let me have the
Thank
floor
you.
now.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Xavier Franco. I live at 175 Renton Avenue in New Brunswick. I got robbed on Renton Avenue by two other people. I don't know. They're selling drugs on the street. I don't even know these people, and they're attacking the Hispanic people. I don't know what they're doing, but just want to know what can you do in order.
Did you call the police?
Yes, I called the police and I called the detectives. They came out and they stole my wallet, everything. You know, no money in it, but they stole my license, credit card, everything.
And you heard that there's
One guy got arrested, but the other guy took off. And I would like to know what can you do in this case, because it's been going on in Renton Avenue, it's been going a lot of drug dealing. And it needs to stop.
What time did you?
It was around like 10:30, 11 o'clock, I was coming from work. And they need to do something about this.
Thank you. We
I
know
would like
that
to know-
Captain Miller is here. And
I would like to know what they're gonna do about this, because there's a lot of drinking outside in front of the liquor store. You know, that liquor store in front, on Renton?
What's the name of it?
I don't know what the name of the liquor
That's
store.
in the corner of.
Corner between Simon, yeah, that liquor store. They buy the beer and they drink it outside in front of the liquor store. So I don't understand why. They need to do something about this robbing and all this. I would like to know what the officers are going to do. What can you please do? Because I don't know, because I was walking by myself at the 10:30 coming from work, and this had to happen to me. They ripped my pants. Two guys grabbed me like this. I almost fell unconscious, and thank God I had my cell phone. I called 911, and they immediately came. I'm Simon. I was walking from Gala, coming home between Simon and True, coming home and trying to get to Renton. I couldn't get to Renton because they pushed me to a car, and the guy just grabbed me like so tight like this, and almost lose my conscience. But thank God I'm alive. I want to know what can the officers do in this, and what can you do?
Thank you. Captain Miller, you take note of it, and please, if you could see what's going on Renton Avenue in that area.
I already spoke to the prosecutor's office. I already talked to my attorney. And the guy is still in jail, but and I haven't gotten any more information about the prosecutor office, because they told me to take like 2-3 months for them to file the case to the court. So I want to know what can they do now.
Well, as with the prosecutor, you have to wait, but already Captain Miller is here. You heard what you have to say, and they're going to make sure that they keep a lookout on Renton Avenue to see what happened.
I want patrolling in the Renton Avenue all over the place, because this drug dealing and this drinking in front of the liquor store need to stop.
Thank you.
If there's kids, I would like to know what they can do in this case.
Thank you for letting us know. We duly noted. The captain already has it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Pittman, you're next.
Mel Pittman, 291 Cedar Street. First I want to mention, I want to bring the fact of last meeting and how it blew up, and just the entire respect level of, what we got to go through and what, you guys got to go through. And, I'm always, when I listen, when I'm up talking or if I'm not speaking and I'm sitting in my chair, and I always hear, mostly like the people that come, they huff, they huff and they puff and they move around and they rattle and they're looking at their watches just like you guys are, but they're not. They don't have to be. Well, some of them are department heads, but a lot of them don't have to be. And when people are coming with concerns, with valid concerns, and if it's frustrating you, then my question is, why come back? Not unless you're just waiting for the city to say something good and you start clapping and dancing. That's what I don't get, you know. And, you know, people come here and they got concerns. We don't have the resources that you got. I don't have the resources you guys have. I come here with the same old pad, and when this runs out, I go to Office Depot and I get another one. I don't have people waiting in the background to see how I look. I don't have a reporter on the payroll. There's just certain things I don't have that you guys have. And the lack of respect that you guys are pushing on to us, I don't understand it. Like the last meeting when, you know, I was questioning, you know, the integrity of Tom Laughlin. And I do see him as a thief, a legal thief, and I'll continue to see him as a thief. And what upset me is because normally I just let the chips fall where they may when I come to the meeting. I let them fall where they may. I don't put together a lot. A lot of stuff that I come in bringing forth to you, I put it together on the ride down here in the car. I don't put no heavy thought into this. I can. I will. I know when to do it. I don't put heavy thought into things when I present it to you. But I looked at the meeting, and what bothered me was the protection that he got from you guys, especially Councilman Egan. And I looked, and it was like almost like I had him on the ropes, and it was deliberate that Councilman Egan flared up and made a certain gesture and got back and forth with me, and then you closed the meeting, and then the next meeting you come, you got Mr. Marquetta here, and it's like you guys are playing games, and he's now on vacation, and you know, because I wanted to confront him again. I wanted to confront him again about the issue that you guys don't want to address, or like Mr. Hamilton is saying, with the arrogance that he said with Ms. Gaten, that nothing's going to happen to him. That same arrogance you gave to Tom like nothing's going to happen to him. So where do we go from there? Because he's saying nothing's going to happen to him. He's not related to the Deloach family. He's not related to the Potts family. He's not related to the Adams family. These are all people that were murdered by police officers. And if you pay attention to what Brother Shabazz brings, this with Ms. Gaten, this was put in place after the homicide of Barry Deloach. So for him to say that there's a flaw in the system, and he proved to you that there's a flaw in the system, and you sit here and you hear Mr. Hamilton say that, yeah, she's flawed, but nothing is going to happen to her. What does that say to the community in New Brunswick about the shooting of Barry Deloach? What did that say? And you support his decision by saying that. Because the minute I say something, you guys are ready to close the meeting. You didn't say anything to Mr. Hamilton about nothing's happening to him. So that shows what your integrity, how much integrity you have. And I address you personally because you took the position of council president. Even though I think that your strings are being pulled, you still took the position, so that's why I address you, and that's why I attack you so hard. Because I want to see the integrity that you have, and you have yet to show me that. I'm about to leave in a few days. I'm supposed to be packing bags. But because of the cloth that I'm cut from, I had to come back here because I had a last meeting with. This was a meeting I wanted to take off. This was when I'd rather just point a pack. Something was just burning inside of me because of the conduct how you guys treat not only me, but everyone else when they came in. Now, my question, I specifically want to know, I'm asking specifically, do you have an inch of integrity in you?
Well, I'm not going to dignify a question, to answer that question to you, Mr. Pittman. The only thing that I will tell you about how we conduct the meetings, I think that we have to look at all of us, you included, because I don't have any issue when you come here and you raise the issues, whether I agree with you or not. And I think that I have been pretty respectful of you. I have never called your name. I have always referred to you as Mr. Pittman. I have always listened, whether I like it or not, to what you have to say. But it comes a point, and I said it a few months ago, I don't mind listening to all of that, but there has to be some type of respect. You could complain all you want, but once you cross the line, that's when we have to stop the meeting. And the crossing of the line is disrespectful, because you could be, and you have, that day there was kids here.
Okay.
And you, the way that you behave, in the way that you were addressing and insulting,
okay,
that's not the way, and that day I was trying to get you both, and I'm not condoning the behavior of Councilman Egan, because he should have, no. He knows that I was like, stop, because I don't go for that. I don't agree with that type of behavior. Again, It has nothing to do with what you're saying, it's how you are talking to us. I think that the same way that you deserve respect, we deserve respect back. Whether we like, or whether you like what I hear, what I'm saying, whether you like what you hear from me, you don't have a right to call names, because the names that you're calling and the same that you're saying is showing that as a community leader, you have to a little bit to grow, because you're dividing, you're talking about how we are, there's discrimination, there's this and that, and you are perpetrating the same thing you're saying that we're doing to you. And you're the one who started. So just keep in mind, I respect you because you're trying to do something for the community, even though we disagree many things, but believe it or not, we agree in others. But that doesn't give you the right to be disrespectful to anyone here or anybody from the audience. That's what I have to say. Whether I have integrity or not, I would not dignify that question, because it doesn't really. If I tell you one thing or the other, it doesn't matter, because you're going to have your own opinion on it.
What if you were running for office and they asked you that question? You would answer it, right? But now that you're in there, you don't feel like you have to answer it.
I have no, but thank you, Mr. Pino, what your points are well taken.
No, but I'm saying, you said you listen to me, right? You said you hear me. You said I'm a community advocate, right? But like I tell you, all the time, I go different places. I deal with different type of I go to different states. And the thing is, I'm a breath of fresh air. I get a breath of fresh air when I go out of town or out of state. I'm not just one of these people that is just so stuck into New Brunswick. The whole life revolves around New Brunswick. Every connect they have comes from New Brunswick. Every situation they deal with comes from New Brunswick. The only place they can poke their chest out is New Brunswick. I'm not from Staten Island and they call me out there. I'm not from Garfield and they call me out there. I'm not from Asbury, they call me out there. I'm not from Maryland and they call me out there. This little young black boy from Ripson Avenue, they call out there to kick up other cities. So for you to compliment me and say I'm a community and how I conduct myself, I have a right to conduct myself like that. I know one of your relatives was in here that day. I know that. But I brought my kids out in the street to block off cars to get justice and results. So that don't compare to what your relative had to go through, don't compare to what my kids had to go through. I put my 6-year-old son in front of a car to block it so we could block the streets off while I yelled and screamed on a number of occasions for like 2 months. So what your child had to go, your kid is not no any better than mine. So and I did, and you know what I did? What I called you was what I felt you were. And until you, but you know what though? If I was an elected official, right? And guess what somebody said? If somebody said, you know what, Termel, you're a puppet. You're nothing but a public puppet. You know what I would do as an elected official? I would say my job is to prove her or him wrong. That would be my job. But your job is that I don't care what you say, because at the end of the night, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to have a good sleep, right?
Thank you, Mr. Pittman. Your time is up and I let you. Thank you for your statement.
And I still think that you're a puppet.
So right. Thank you, Mr. Pittman.
Good evening once again, Madam Council President. I'll start with something a little bit positive. I noticed on first reading there is the increase in pay for these school crossing guards. Can you give a little details about what that program is?
Yes, Mr. Machado, you want to do it or you want me to do it?
The school crossing guards, we raised their salary to $12.50 an hour, so that comes to the $25 a day. If they work more time than that, it'll be prorated. And they'll be getting clothing also that the city is buying.
They're going to get an allowance for clothing.
No, we're buying the clothing.
We're buying, we're buying with the and they also are
hats,
really...
vests, and winter coats and hats.
So there's going to be...
Well, that's terrific to hear. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I do just want to ask how the council feels. So for instance, like if somebody at municipal court, you had a loud party, you get a ticket for that. I've seen people get tickets, they pay $800 and $1,000 for that kind of a ticket. You know, drinking in public, that type of a fine would be like $350 or $300, even if you weren't bothering anybody, you had an open container in public. Texting and driving, roughly $200. Director Rawls had court yesterday in South Brunswick, and he was, pled guilty to a deal, and the deal was that he would, basically only have the one charge. It was $206 was the fine he paid. I just know that you were here that night when so many people filled this chamber and sent a very loud and powerful message that they want justice in that case. And I just want to ask your opinion on whether or not you think justice was served by the system in this case.
The only thing that I could tell you, Mr. Carter, that the judge, the courts did what they charged me to do. That's what it's the judicial system. They did what they have to do.
Was the case was adjudicated, and it went through, right?
That was the.
I mean, we have an imperfect
That's
system, but it'd be one thing if we said, let's drop the case. If something goes through and we don't agree with it, we might not agree one way or another what justice is. Everybody's version of justice is one way or the other. But when we're bound by the law, if that's what the law was at the time, we may not like it, but the case got adjudicated, the case is out of court, that's how it came out. I mean, my opinion of the law, different laws all over the country, I might not agree with that law, but when that law goes through, we're bound by that law, that's justice, that's what goes through. So we may like it one way or another, but if it went through, and that's what the law was, that's what happened.
So I'm asking you as lawmakers how you feel about that, whether you think that was a just decision, that judge made a just deal, that prosecutor offered.
I personally, I'm not going to make any comment at this time about that.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
know
I think
if anybody wishes to make.
No, I'm not going to second guess the judge, I'm just going to go along with the due process.
That's
I believe in
what it
it,
says.
that's what happened.
Okay.
That's what I go with.
I think that you have a higher responsibility than that, but I'll move on. So regarding the planning board meeting that was held last week in this room, it was overcrowded and had to be canceled for the second time. I just want to know who was part of the decision-making process to decide to hold the meeting in the same room that could not hold it a few months earlier.
Mr. Carter, you're doing a wrong meeting, that's a planning board question.
Right, no, I'm asking the city government, because in fact it was the planning director, who is here seated in the front row tonight, who made that decision. I'm asking who else was involved in that decision.
And I'm telling you that you have to go to the planning board meeting and ask those questions.
Well, here's the funny thing. It doesn't seem like the planning board members were actually consulted, or the planning board's attorney. So I'm asking who made the decision? Because I could go ask a bunch of people who weren't part of the decision, but I'm asking you because you have elected duty to run the city.
Yes, Mr. Hamilton?
For the record, the director of planning had checked on the availability of the building across the street, the freeholders meeting room. He had checked on the availability of the municipal court, the Spear Municipal Court. They weren't available. And a judgment was made. We don't know how many people are going to come. We think we'll be able to have the meeting, and it didn't work out.
But any more details should be made out to the planning board meeting, not to us, because we really don't want Mr.
Well, so the natural follow-up is, will the board members or their attorney be consulted in the scheduling of the next meeting?
Again, that's a planning board question.
Well, I'm asking about the scheduling of the next meeting, so I can't very well ask about the next meeting.
That's the planning. You want to say something? That's the planning board.
I'm asking, who will make that decision? Who will make the decision? The same thing will happen.
Mr. Hamilton, that's the planning board decision, so we have nothing to, when is the next planning board meeting? Do we know?
September 9th, the regular scheduled meeting is for September 9th.
September 9th, there should go Mr. Carnival.
Okay, and where will it be held?
As we said in the May meeting, as we said at the last meeting, it will be at a venue to be determined. We are looking at other potential venues to hold it in, as it has had a large crowd that has come out for that. Also, for the last meeting, our understanding was that a lot of the people that came out to the May meeting would not be out to this meeting, and we felt that this room would accommodate the balance of the crowd that had showed up at the earlier meeting. That proved to be incorrect, and so that meeting last week was postponed, and we'll look at having it a place that can accommodate.
Okay.
And I trust the city will get the word out about it. So in closing, I just want to say that, there was some productive talk tonight, also some unproductive talk, and I think that, you know, in terms of the water, I think it's the most important issue right now in the city. And I think it's very important that we all pay close attention to it, instead of sort of playing games with, well, what hat are you wearing now? What is your opinion on it? Let's get down to the facts of what's actually going on, who's actually in charge, what the deals that are being signed actually mean for the taxpayers. And for anyone who's interested in that, I invite you to come Tuesday, August 26th at 7 p.m. A representative from the Department of Environmental Protection will be attending the 5th and 6th Ward Neighborhood Association meeting that is open to all members of the public, anyone who loves New Brunswick or wants to make it a better place. I'm inviting the council members, and I will invite the mayor's office as well. And I would like to see some of you there, because this is a really golden opportunity to learn more about the water system here.
The Hungarian.
Yes, the Hungarian Museum, the Hungarian Heritage Center, 300 Somerset Street. The entrance, 7 p.m. And yes, the entrance and parking are available there off of Bethany Street.
I'm going to do my best.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Good evening, Anthony Lavrina again from 1050 George Street. I just had a couple of questions. So what's going on with the matrix construction on New Street and Liberty Street? Or Nielsen Street and Liberty Street? It's taking forever. They've had it fenced off. The sidewalk is fenced off. It's been months. It's still an empty parking lot. They put up a huge, ugly parking deck, but no building like in the concept. I've seen the conceptual drawings. They're nice, reasonably nice, nicer than what's there now, but it's just a mess now. So.
Do you have any update on that, Mr. Patterson, the matrix and that area?
I don't know what their start date is, but I believe they were just issued a building permit or about to be issued a building permit, so there should be something happening soon.
And then in terms of the Fair and Deck development, what if any changes will be made to the intersection of Albany Street and Easton Avenue? I know at least since the 1920s there have been recommendations to make it into a circle intersection, and it's still a god-awful intersection. I know at some points pedestrians have to cross at least 70 feet of open roadway to get to the other side of the road. That's absolutely ridiculous. It's unacceptable, and it should be changed. So is there any plans to change it?
Mr. Golden is not here any longer, but we will get that information for the next. Oh, Mr. Patterson, do you have any idea?
That's a county intersection on both roads there, but the county does have some plans to make some improvements to how the pedestrian paths go there, and to change some of the corners there to do it. I don't know that it'll make it a perfect intersection, but it should be some improvement.
Do you know where the citizen can get that information?
If you talk to the county engineer's office, it's their project.
Thank you.
All right. Are there any moves being made to increase public transportation inside the city of New Brunswick, either through the county, through Rutgers, through New Brunswick?
Anything that, not that I know what we have already that is pretty comprehensive, but Mr. Patterson.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of public transportation in New Brunswick, particularly with the Rutgers bus system that is open to anyone who wants to get on it. The city does help fund 3 different community shuttles. There are actually 2 community shuttles that are in town, one funded by the county and one also funded with Rutgers to provide transportation in the community. There are 3 or 4 different New Jersey Transit intercity bus lines in town, plus the Coach USA buses. In addition to that, there are dial-a-ride and other services like that for special populations. So there's a fair amount of it in town. We'd always love to have more. We are doing things for other alternative types of transportation. We call them mass transportation. Because if you don't know, we are doing the county's doing the county bikeway to connect the College Avenue campus to the Douglas campus. Sedan Street is being repaved in the next week or so, and that will have a dedicated bike lane on that. And we're always looking for additional opportunities to put bike lanes in. So if we can find opportunities to create additional mass transit, we are doing that. And I also forgot we have the Northeast Carter rail line that's in there. We've made some improvements there, such as the pedestrian promenade from Somerset Street to the platform to make that more accessible. And we hope to be making more improvements like that. The station itself and the rail line itself are not city properties. The station is the New Jersey Transit, and the railroad owns, Amtrak owns the line itself.
Right next to where I live, there's a great way to improve inter-campus bike transportation or between town bike transportation. On George Street, the Bugalo Park pathway comes down and hits a set of stairs, then goes across George Street and gets up onto the John Lynch Bridge. It is a horrible, horrible pedestrian crossing. Vehicles routinely travel upwards of 45 to 50 miles an hour on that street because it's a straightaway. There really is no traffic control for almost the entire length of it. Even down at the end where it goes onto 18, if you're going onto 18, traveling down George Street, it's just a straight shot onto 18. There's no stopping. There's no stop sign or anything like that. It's marked as 25 miles an hour. Occasionally, police do pull people over, but the stairs literally go to the curb. It's a very frightening or uncomfortable situation to be put in as a pedestrian, let alone somebody carrying a bicycle on this set of stairs to try to get across that street when there are cars going in excess of 50 miles an hour. The land, obviously there's stairs going out to the street. The land behind it is built up. It wouldn't take much to put a bridge from that piece of the park to the raised section of the bridge. It's both raised, and I'm sure you could build it tall enough to get a truck underneath it. And I don't know how much that would cost, or a lighted crosswalk like they have on George Street by the train station. Is anything being done about that?
Is that, Mr. Minister, that's brokers or?
No, that's county roadway, that section of George Street up there, and where it does connect to the bridge, that is the state. I couldn't agree with Mr. Trevino more that it's not a great situation. I take my bike over there a lot. It has a large curve when you come off the bridge. It's actually good that given the current situation, it's good that it has such a large curve, because if you're a cyclist coming off that, you have to stop and get off your bike, because you don't want to be riding out into that traffic. The solution is not easy there. Trevino talks about putting a bridge in there. There is some elevation where you can get a bridge across there, but there are also issues with providing the handicapped access. You have to have a rather long ramp going back and forth to handle that. Again, that's something that the county engineer's office would have to address. It's their road there to go over that, and also coordinate it with the New Jersey Department of Transportation. But if you can create a link there, it would help connect the New Brunswick bikeway that's being constructed with the bike paths that you have through the Rutgers system. It would be a big improvement, and it's something that the city has argued for to be done. But again, that's something you should address with the county engineer's office.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
Yes. Is there any available funding for renovations to the room that we are in right now? Because
we've been working on it for the past 3 years, because we need renovation. It needs a lot of money.
I mean, you can tell that it once was a very, very nice room to sit in and have a council meeting in, but now it's showing a little bit of age. And, you know, please don't paint over any of this nice stuff, but try to restore it to its original look.
Absolutely, just so you know that there are plans to change the whole setup of this and put it a little more that more people are able to accommodate more people, that the tables are going to be more in a way that it will be more accessible that we're looking. So it's the money, but it's on the works. It's coming up, because I'm always asking, you know, the same thing, because it's needed.
Are there plans for that?
There are plans.
Plans?
There are plans. For the next meeting, we will get you because there are plans. The plans are there. When it's going to start, that's when we the question, but we're working on it. But thank you. At this time, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'm sorry.
Sunday. I forgot. I'm going to pronounce that. Yeah.
This Sunday,
yes.
Anybody, we hope that people can make it. It's called Restoring the Dream 2014. I have flyers. It's not just a street dedication, but it's going to be giving honor to people that have been involved locally in the civil rights movement, including Dr. Martin King Jr. It starts at 3:30 at 259 George Street. It's going to start with a short program in the beginning. There's going to be a short walk. I've talked to some people that they're a little aged, put it that way, and they were concerned about if they can make that walk. People can also drive up to the location, but it does start this Sunday, August 24th at 3:30. At 3:30, it's going to be a great program. The location is 259 George Street. And if you look this Sunday, there should be a article in the Home News Tribune. J. Jefferson Cook is writing an article on it.
And it's gonna walk to the Martin Luther
Yeah,
King,
to Sanford and
Joyce
Joyce Kilmer
Kilmer.
Avenue. It should be an excellent program. But I hope that some of you can make it. I have flyers. If you can't make it, just spread the word. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for reminding me, because I had it in the head. Reading to adjourn, motion to adjourn, so moved. Second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Council Vice President Egan. Councilmember Fleming.
Yes.
Councilmember Garlotti.